Hi, my name is Andreas Martinson. I am the founder and CEO of Rose Health, and in this video, I'm going to be going through CMS Provider Attribution. So CMS Provider Attribution was built so that we would be able to provide the necessary analytics for ACOs, and provider attribution is crucial to that. We also built it because provider attribution, we know it can take 3 to 4 months or longer, depending on how accurate you're trying to get it. This product is built so that it not only saves you money, but it also saves you time when you are looking to implement CMS Provider Attribution and power either your ACO's analytics or use that as a basis for your own provider attribution. There are many different use cases you can use this for. Some of these are listed here, but I won't go into all of those. I'll go ahead and go into some of these in a demo a little later in the video. I wanted to contrast CMS Provider Attribution, which is on the Tuva Marketplace, with what is available in the Tuva open source project. The primary difference is that the Tuva Provider Attribution is a general solution that is based on the open source project and doesn't need any additional dependencies. The CMS Provider Attribution is the exact methodology that CMS uses for MSSP ACOs. And so when accuracy is really important, you would use CMS Provider Attribution instead of Tuva Provider Attribution. There's a couple of differences between the two, which result in a difference in accuracy. So how accurate is it? It's up to about roughly 98% for CMS Provider Attribution, and Tuva Provider Attribution, it's around 80%. And the reason for this difference is because there's a couple different reasons. One being that Tuva Provider Attribution does not take into account outpatient claims. It doesn't do a pre-step. The 5 steps it uses aren't exactly one-to-one with the CMS Provider Attribution. And there's a couple other reasons besides that, but those are the high-level ones. So how does it work? So provider attribution works by getting the assignable providers and then getting the assignable beneficiaries. And these are going to be filtered based on the TINs that are selected and the NPIs. And that provider supplier list is then used, and the beneficiaries are based off of the claims that are billing to those TINs. And primary care physicians are paired up with the beneficiaries to get our assigned beneficiaries. And then you use a plurality of charges to determine which provider gets assigned to which beneficiary. So let me go ahead and demo the product itself. So I have some dummy data that's been set up, which we'll go through, where there are 2 hypothetical ACOs set up, ACO 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. And there are 3 tables that are output from the CMS Provider Attribution software. The software itself is a DBT package, which you'll go ahead and get a download of, along with all the associated files. You can see here in this first table are the assignable beneficiaries. These are the ones that have the potential to be assigned. It's very clean. You have the ACO, performance year, and then the person ID. Then you have the individuals that have been assigned. So here you also have the step, and this can either be step 1, 2, or 3. This is going to match what's in the shared savings and losses methodology document that CMS provides every year. And then you'll have the NPI that they're assigned to. The code itself is very well documented. It includes references to not only the shared savings and losses document, or the SLAM, it also has references to ECFR as well. And then finally, you have this potentially assigned table, and this is for those beneficiaries who were assignable but not assigned. And so these would be good to review to see why you lost assignment. And for this, you'd go to some of the upstream intermediate tables to see exactly what the reason was that you lost assignment for them. One example of losing assignment that was on the use cases slide was leakage. It is when you lose attribution for a specific beneficiary because another ACO had that beneficiary attributed to them. And that beneficiary could have been lost due to allowed charges. You not having as many allowed charges as the other ACO. It can also be lost because the most amount of allowed charges were with your ACO. However, that professional that they were meeting with, that provider, was not an ACO professional. And so here is an example where both of our ACOs, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, are being compared against each other in terms of who wins assignment. This first provider here had the highest allowed amount. However, this ACO does not win assignment because the professional was not an ACO professional. That was not, they weren't part of the provider supplier list. And this is from the provider plurality table. There's a lot of other tables you can explore to drive many more analytics. Finally, all of this will trickle to report a dashboard like this, where you see these numbers coming through for attributed members, and this is going to drive all these other analytics that you see here as well. So that's CMS Provider Attribution. Thank you so much.